Hello. It is 8:53 p.m. on October the 9th of 2021. And do reptilians exist? There's been a lot of talk about reptilians throughout the years, especially in the UFO community and all of that, you all. There's often been talk that perhaps the serpent in the Garden of Eden, even though it was like a serpent, I think it was a reptile, a reptilian, an upright, walking. That's what I think it is. I think that they were back around during biblical times. I think they have always been here longer than we have been here. So I want to thank you all for joining me. Even though I haven't turned on the screen, I'm going to come over here to my my channel on my phone to see if somebody's on here. I'm sure there might be somebody. Yes, there are somebody. There is somebody on here, you all. So yes, hello everyone. Hello from the Gulf Coast. Yes. So I was sitting there looking at, you know what, I can set my phone right here and set it somewhere. Set it maybe right over here, and I can probably look at it from time to time. Baha, hello in Scotland, you all. You know, I was thinking, what could I talk about tonight? And I looked at a lot of things. I looked at the missing link between the man, you know, the missing link, and it's just like it's disappeared. And some people could say that, you know, it's Sasquatch or Bigfoot or something. Some have speculated that the missing link between that period of time were like the Bigfoot that got drove underground, or the Sasquatches, you all. But there was that's what I started off at, looking at the missing link. I'm going to show you all. So let me put that to my screen right here. So I was sitting there thinking, okay, they had the missing link right here. And there's a lot of people you thinking, you know, I did not come from an ape or whatever. But we do have animals that have slowly evolved, and there are animals that they adapt to their environment. They really do. That's a real thing. They learn to adapt. But I was sitting there thinking about what happened to the missing link. That's what I was thinking. What happened to the missing link? I think I'm on here, you all. Yeah, I'm on there. Now let me put this back to me. So I was thinking about that. And then I was looking at the skeletons. You can see the gibbon, the human, the chimpanzee, the gorilla, the orangutan. You know, we all have the same type of, we got rib cages, we got arms, we got hands, we got feet, we got legs. We have a head. We all have brains. Some are bigger than others. All of that. So look at that, you all. So what happened between here and here and here and here and here? Okay, this is where I started off, because I got to tell you how I got to where I'm going to go. That's what's got to happen. How I got to where I was going to go. Now let's look at this. So then I came up on this. Cro-Magnon. Man is modern man. They are called the Cro-Magnon because their remains were first found in Cro-Magnon, France. Cro-Magnon first appeared in Europe about 35,000 years ago. At the same time, the Neanderthals were disappearing. See, that's what I was thinking. Well, what happened to the Neanderthals? Okay, it is a hotly debated issue whether the Neanderthals were the ancestors of modern humans or a separate species. The DNA evidence says that they are not, and some paleontologists say the fossil evidence shows that they were. Homo erectus was the ancestor of Neanderthals and modern humans. and Homo habilis was the ancestor of Homo erectus. Incidentally, the full scientific name of modern humans and Neanderthals are Homo sapiens. Sapiens and Homo sapiens Neanderthalensis, respectively. So that's where I got there, and I thought, well, what was Cro-Magnon? Because I wanted to know what Cro-Magnon looked like, you all. That's what I did. I wanted to know what Cro-Magnon looked like. Okay. So, I was led here. So it says around 200,000 years ago, the earliest known fossils of hunter-gatherer humans show they were tall, muscular, with large brains. And 30,000 years ago, Cro-Magnon man, the earliest modern human, a large hunter-gatherer with a brain of 1,500 cubic centimeters. Then 9,000 years ago, humans began to shrink after a switch to agricultural farming, which may have led to vitamin and mineral deficiencies. And they say now a smaller and weaker physique with a brain volume in males only 1,350 cubic centimeters, which is 10 whatever smaller than the Cro-Magnon man. And so I'm sitting there thinking, okay, Cro-Magnon. So I'm still thinking about Cro-Magnon. So then I want to type in the Cro-Magnon because I'm not satisfied with it. I'm not satisfied with it. So then I get led to this right here, and I thought, man, that's a scary face, you all. That really is a scary face right there. And I thought, I don't want to show that. That's what I said. I don't want to show that, but that was actually a Cro-Magnon person. Let me put this back to me. I think I've got the article open. But this is what's really interesting. So if you were to read this, this is like sliders on Wiki. This Wiki thing is really interesting, and I rarely ever go there, but that I was on a search, you all. That's what I was happening, on a search. So listen to this. The Cro-Mags and maggots by humans are a species. Look, this is what I really want to focus on. A species of humanoid primates from the sci-fi television show Sliders. They are, this is really the big one right here, they are a technologically advanced and highly militaristic race bent on conquering all human-dominated parallel Earths in preparation for an assault on the world that they call Cro-Mag Prime, the world the humans on Earth originally drove them from after a world war. So I thought, you know what? They are a militaristic race bent on conquering all human-dominated parallel Earths. Okay, they want to conquer all human-dominated. Now, you may not believe in parallel Earths. You may not. But I think there might be something to this, especially with this Cro-Mag. And then I thought, okay, that's fine. Then listen to this. You all look at this. We're not still watching this. We're going to look at this, you all. Look at this. So they have this person called Maximilian Arturo. I don't know who this is, a Cro-Mag general. In season 2 called The Invasion, on one of the more 150 Earths that they had subjugated. And it was revealed in the episode that when the Cro-Mags began dimensional traveling, they were shocked to see world after world dominated by the Homo sapiens. They both hate and they fear humans. They consider them vermin and the enemy, and they have treated them accordingly. They conquer most parallel Earths. They conquer and keep the humans they didn't kill for their slave labor, breeding purposes, or test subjects. They find the discovered humans ugly, no, I don't want to read that, you all. No, we're not going to read that part. I'm not reading that part. I can't read that part to you all. That's grossed me out. But I was sitting there thinking about, that looks it kind of resonates within my being. And It does with what's going on in our world and what has throughout the years, okay? And if you look back on history and you read history, and then you see all this stuff that's happened to humans throughout history, and it's not very nice. You're thinking, why don't you like humans? Why don't you like humanity? Why are you coming after humanity? Because I really do feel humanity is under attack. I do. And now let's look at the rest of this, because I'm not going to read that one part. I'm going to go right back there to that screen, you all. Hello there, Apple Brooks. Honey, I am not going to read it. So look, exiled from Cro-Mag Prime, the Cro-Mags put a stop to their tribal wars with each other under a government known as Cro-Mag Dynasty. And through dimensional traveling technology, they set about building their empire, traveling from Earth to Earth and claiming most as their own under a brutal occupation. And they do not conquer all worlds, however. One episode, they performed a hit-and-run assault on an unsuspecting Earth by stealing its fuel reserves and leaving, forcing humans on that world to make do without automobiles and such. Now, I could see that happening on this Earth, and I could see our fuel reserves being stolen and other things that are precious to the Earth. I really, when I saw this, I thought, I don't know if this is really sci-fi. I really don't know that it is really sci-fi, because it don't sound sci-fi to me. It sounds like it could actually happen. It really does. And they're technologically, look at this, you all. They are, you may say, Gina, why are you reading this? Because this is relative to what's happening. They are technologically advanced with technology that can control gravity, create force fields, handheld energy weapons, genetic engineering, and aircraft, Manta ships equipped with energy weapons. Look at this. Little is known of their society. It appears to be highly militaristic, with no forgiveness for failure among its members. See, and they put their own soldiers to death by letting the human protagonists escape. So they don't like that. They got a 12th Legion. Okay, they despise human sentimental. Oh, they appear to despise human sentiment. Now, wait a minute. They don't like sentimentalness within humans. They don't like us having our feelings. They don't like us to have our emotions intact like that. They don't like that. So look at this. They are insulted when such feelings are directed toward them. They can't stand it, okay? They can't stand human sentiments. Okay, you understand what that's saying? They require no sentimentality when breeding amongst each other. Come on now. Oh my gosh. There was something that I read. There's a video that I shared. It was just a day or so ago about, I know what it was about. I just shared a video a day ago, and it was talking directly about what we're reading right here, you all. This is causing me to have a hot flash. This really is. I cannot believe this. I'd like to find that video screenshot if I saved it. It was about the body snatchers. Do you remember that? It was about the body snatchers. And there was one thing that the body snatchers did when they took over the human body. Okay? They didn't want them to have any human emotions or whatever. They wanted to get rid of those emotions like that. The body snatchers. Okay? And there's something else that's supposed to, get rid of something that has your emotions and stuff. And this thing right here is supposed to be sci-fi. I don't think this is sci-fi. I think this thing right here is literally talking about real life. I really am starting to think that this is really strange. Yeah, it's really, really strange, you all. They got psychic abilities, though they cannot read your minds. Some have the ability to project illusions and plant post-hypnotic suggestions into human minds. You know what I tried to do? This is what I felt when I was younger. I'm going to tell you something about me when I was a young girl. I would sit there and tell myself that I didn't want somebody reading my mind. Now, don't ask me why I felt like I don't want nobody reading my mind, but I could literally make my mind go completely blank in such a sense, and I could like be singing a song in another part of my mind. That way nobody could understand what I was really thinking about. See, I didn't want nobody to read my mind. I felt if I got around certain people, they might have the ability to read my mind. So I would do something, and I thought, you're not going to read my mind. I would create a big barrier, and then I would sing in the background, so they could not read my mind. I know that might sound strange, but I remember doing that. I just did not want somebody, and I can still do that. Now, I will still do that. If I think somebody's going to try to read my mind, I am going to make my mind go blank. I'm going to put up a wall, and then I'm going to think of something totally off subject. I'll probably be singing something so they can't break through that barrier within my mind. That's really the truth. I'm not just saying that. So these people have they have a lot of powers. Look, they have the ability to communicate telepathically to select subservient humans, allowing some Cro-Mags to avoid lowering themselves by speaking to humans directly. Oh my goodness, you all. So I could see that. There are some people. Have you noticed there's people who they don't want you to speak to them. They think that you are beneath them. People in power, okay? There are people in power who are like that. They don't want you to talk to them. They'd rather have somebody else, a mediator or something. You all, this is really strange. It is, and I hope this is all right. So look at this. Now I really don't think this is sci-fi. It's been shown that the Cro-Mags' telepathic abilities can be taught to humans, not just their healing power. Okay, they can teach telepathy, I don't know, post-hypnotic. Okay, so I got to that, and I thought, this, when I started reading that, and right there, I thought, okay, so then I looked into something else. I thought, well, I'm going to look at another picture. So I saw this picture right here, and I thought, now, wait a minute. That looks like it's a reptilian. That's what I said to myself. That looks like it's a reptilian head, especially with that part right there. That's what I thought. I thought that looks reptilian. So then I thought, you know what? What if they are describing the reptilians that are on this earth? And they came up with a different name for them called the Cro-Mags, and in this series called the Sliders. And I vaguely remember years ago, I would watch some of the episodes of the Sliders. I just vaguely remember it. Vaguely. Yeah, a German uniform. Isn't that interesting? So you all can see that, yeah. So they look like they're reptilian. Okay, they really do. They look like reptilian. And then I thought, okay, I wanna see the reptilians. So then I went and did a search, and here we are. I want to say something. Okay, you see these blue eyes? I want to say something about blue eyes. You know, there are a lot of people on the news, a whole lot of them, on the TV and stuff. They have blue eyes. Have you all noticed that, or is it just me thinking that I'm just noticing blue eyes everywhere? Is it just me, you all? Has anybody else noticed there's a lot of blue-eyed actors and stuff? A lot of blue-eyed politicians and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Well, nature spirit, I know my husband has blue eyes too. You know, I often thought, why do we have blue eyes? Why do we have brown eyes? Why do we have hazel eyes? You know, I often thought about that, and I know it has to do with whatever it is. But yeah, I thought, wow. It's just something that I see. I don't see very many brown eyes, I guess, or hazel. I know there's a lot of varying eye color out there, but not too many. So then I went to there. I think I'm right there, you all. Then I went to there, which let me get this back to me. So I went to there, and then it had, you know, it had all these reptilian images in it, because I thought I want to see what the reptilians look like. So you all can see right here. There's all kinds of reptilians, and I think they are upright serpents. And you see they got the nodules. They got like nodules, like horns, like little things protruding out of their heads. So we got, and even look at this. The, remember this on the Land of the Lost, I think? They had these, reptilians. Now, see, I don't like that picture right there. He looks kind of angry, and I don't like the look in his eye. It looks very mad. So, yeah. So, this reptilian, so it led me to that spot. And then, you know, I thought, I'm going to read something else. That's what I said. And I thought, okay, they do. They look like reptilian. These Cro-Mags look like reptiles. And I think it was describing these reptilians. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's describing these reptilians. You all, I hope this is all right, that I'm just going here and doing this video and you're all chatting amongst yourself, and I hope it's okay for you all moderators, because I try to keep my train of thought. Okay, so I'm sitting there thinking, okay, these Cro-Mags, we read about the Cro-Mags and what they are like, military like. That's what I thought. And then I thought, okay, well, what about these reptilians? So I'm going to read you about the reptilians. So this is, so I came here. It says, some believe that reptilians evolved on Earth. There are two main schools of thought on where reptilians came from. Some believe that they evolved on Earth. They evolved on Earth. I'm not going to look at the, see, I looked at the comments, and I don't want to look at the comments. They evolved on Earth. They left the planet after mastering intergalactic travel, and then returned millions years later. Others believe that they originated in the Draco constellations, and then they came to Earth thousands of years ago to share our planet, eventually going undercover. They interbred with humans by altering our you-know-what in a way that prevents us from using our brain to its full capacity, making us easier to control. And then the altering of it also makes people susceptible to possessions by the reptilians who live outside our realm of awareness in the lower fourth dimension. So they live in the lower fourth dimension. These demigods were able to gain power in ancient civilizations like Babylon and Mesopotamia, and eventually spread into many royal families. By expanding their power, the reptilians have created a global prison, which we don't notice because we're too distracted by media and our food is poisoned. No. All of this was done to make sure the reptilians control the humankind on this planet. So they like power. The reptilians like power. They gained power as demigods in ancient civilizations like Babylon, it said. So let's see, we could see ancient civilizations like Babylon. Where did I see that? Okay, yeah, we got some stuff right here that we can see. Some Babylon civilizations right here. We got some stuff right here. We got some things right here, right here. I don't like to see those scary faces. I don't. Look at that. So the Anunnaki, the Greys, the Reptilians. So we've got these reptilians, okay? They upright and they walk, and they can turn into a reptile, and or they can walk on all four legs. And what was those ones called? It was a I did a video on it. It was these great big it was a race of snakes that could take on human form in the daytime, but at nighttime they turned into a snake. And there's been stories written about them. I can't remember what they were called. That's a bummer. So we was sitting there thinking, okay, were these what do we call them? These Cro-Mags, were they actually given us information about them and telling us exactly who they are and saying it's sci-fi? And because they're traveling, they're like interdimensional beings. They can travel in between dimensions, in between parallel worlds. And they're like, they got these psychic powers. They are militaristic. And they want to control humans, but yet they don't want you to be sentimental toward them. They don't like sentiment. I can't say it. They don't like sympathy. How about that, you all? Yeah. Okay, yeah. I can't remember the name of those, who they are, the video that I did, because the story goes in that video that this prince saw heard this beautiful woman singing in the forest, a beautiful, beautiful voice, and he saw her. But he when he went to get her, he couldn't find her. And then the next day he saw her, and then he wanted to marry her. And he found out that they were these great big giant snakes, is what they were. They were the great big giant snakes. And so he married her. But he couldn't tell nobody that she was that race of beings. Something like that, you all. And then come to find out, well, she turned into a snake at night in the evening in the bed, the princess did. And when this maid or somebody, the servant came in, she saw this great big snake laying in the bed. This is like a fairy tale, but it's really happened. And she told the king, and it just so happened that her father, the king, was also there. And then they went to war and they destroyed that whole entire thing. I can't remember the name of them, but they wrote stories about them, you all. Am I on here? No, I'm on here right now. So I was thinking that these beings were actually... I think they're the reptilians, and I think they're real. I don't think this, there's a lot of stuff on this wiki stuff. I think that is really, this is the real deal right here, but they put it off as science fiction because they don't think people will believe it, but there's people who want to hear about it. So you can see they both hate and they fear humans, and they consider humans vermin. I heard that reptilians don't like to eat humans. That's what I heard, and they don't like them. But I have heard that they like slave labor. They want to use you as a breeder and a test subject, and they find humans ugly. That's not very nice. To find humans ugly, I don't think that's nice. I think there's lots of beautiful humans out there. I really do. And oh my gosh, you all. So this is something to think about if you haven't thought about it. It really is something like this. It's something to think about. So they have faces that are kind of like beast and inhuman. It says people believe they descended from prehistoric ancestors of modern man called the Cro-Magnon man. Look at this. This is an erroneous belief due to the fact that Cro-Magnon man actually is Homo sapiens. No, see, they already told on themselves, you all. They have already told on themselves. This is supposed to be a wiki thing, and they have told on themselves exactly what's going on. They just exactly told where the reptilians came from, the Cro-Mags came from. They just told on themselves. Okay, they look like reptiles. They look like reptiles. Like, let's show you what they look like. They're these reptilians. That's what they are. They're reptilians. And wiki fandom, this wiki thing has to feel that it has to say that it might make people believe that they descended from some prehistoric ancestor of modern man called the Cro-Magnon man, but it's an erroneous belief due to the fact that the Cro-Magnon man actually is a Homo sapien or modern man. No, I don't believe that. Professor Arturo theorizes that the Cro-Mag descended from another prehistoric hominid species that drove human ancestors to extinction. That could be true too, you all. So yeah, so they're talking about the reptiles, is what they're talking about, these reptilians. And they're technologically advanced in gravity. They can create force fields, handheld energy weapons, genetic engineering, and aircraft, mantis ships, energy weapons, and they can travel in between dimensions. So it's all of that, you all. They have a highly militaristic society. Okay, highly militaristic, and you see what they like to do. They like to conquer all human-dominated parallel Earths. So I feel that Earth is being invaded. I think we're probably under occupation of the reptilians also, you all. These species will work together with one another for a common goal. And then they'll probably divide the spoils amongst them. I don't think that's too far-fetched to say. I don't. And this may sound very sci-fi. It really may sound sci-fi. But, you know, we live in such a sci-fi world right now. I don't think it's too far-fetched to think that, you know, because I would have never, ever, ever in my lifetime, I told my daughter, I said, I would have never imagined a world like we're living in right now. I said, never, ever. I would not have. But it's really strange. So I don't think it's strange to think that these reptilians are here. And these Cro-Mags, this is really the history probably of the reptilians, what they're doing. And they're going from Earth to Earth, and there probably are parallel worlds. 150 Earths. Why would they say 150 Earths have been subjugated? You all, this is all wild to me. It really is wild. Let me just put this on just me. So I'm back here, you all, and I hope that you found this interesting, because I found it interesting, and I didn't know what I was going to speak about. But that Cro-Mags, I think there's some truth to it, because they remind me of the reptilians, okay? They really do. And have you noticed that there are some people that they don't like sentimental people? They don't. They can't stand it. They can't stand it when somebody has a heart full of love within them, when they're kind and stuff. They don't. There are some people that literally cringe. It makes them feel very, very uncomfortable. But that's just too bad. So yeah, so you all, thank you all for joining on here, and thank you moderators for everything you do. So with that being said, hello wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello from my heart to yours. Love you, and thank you so much. And you know, it's nice to explore, and it's nice to have open mind. You don't want to be closed-minded in this world that we live in, because there's so many things that are happening even the unthinkable can happen, you all. And even the strangest of things, that even like these sci-fi movies, I think there's truth in them. I think there's truth in the movies too. They're telling us what's happening. And do we have eyes to see, and do we have ears to hear? Or do we think it's all make believe? Okay. Thank you all once again, and have a wonderful